Hey, 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 hey. What is going on, people? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. And boy, this gonna be something else today, I promise. So turn it off, turn it off, turn it all the way off. What's up, people? It's been almost a week. I think it's been about a week. Again, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life. And I'm going to tell you something. Boy, we're going to have some fun today. But it is a beautiful spring, 69-degree day in the Richmond, VA. And I hope everybody is having a good Tuesday. You know, my schedule be a little cray-cray sometimes. So, I come, I do the show when I can. That's about to change, so I should definitely be consistent on Saturdays at least. I'm sorry, I said 69 degrees, 74 degrees, or excuse me, Mr. Weatherman. But anyway, like I said, I hope everybody's having a great day. It is Tuesday, May 21st, 2019. And again, since the last time we talked, it's been a lot that's going on. It's been a lot that's transpired. We're gonna get into some basketball. I swear that the Lakers make it so hard for you not to talk about them, because boy, did my man Magic Johnson drop some bombshells yesterday. I mean, straight put people on blast. And we're gonna revisit the fight from last Saturday night, the heavyweight championship fight that I really didn't even get a chance to get into the last time I did a show. So, without further ado, let's get to it. All right, and like I said a couple seconds ago, we're going to start off with the situation in Los Angeles. Magic Johnson yesterday went on ESPN's First Take, and it was his first interview since abruptly resigning as president of president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers. It caught everybody by surprise. It was a bombshell. One of the things that he said in his interview when he was announcing his resignation is he was tired of backstabbing. Now, pretty much we figured, at least where one source of it was coming from, and that was Rob Pelinka and possibly Jeannie Buss. But the Magic Man, he had a lot to say.
First of all, let me thank Jeannie Buss for the opportunity first. When we sat down and negotiated, I told her, I said, listen, I can't give up all my businesses. I make more money doing that than becoming the president of the Lakers. So you know that I'm going to be in and out. Is that okay with you? She said, yes. I said, do I have the power to make decisions? Because that was important for me to take the job as well. She said, you have the power to make the decisions. So I said, okay, let's go do it. She said, I'm going to put you with Rob Pelinka, because I didn't know Rob. So she put us both together. First year in, it was tremendous. I wanted the strategy to be, let's get up under the salary cap, because we were way over the salary cap. And I said, let's trade some people, get some draft picks, so on and on. D'Angelo, great guard, but had a problem when Shaggy P and the whole thing went down, so I knew I had to get him out.
I'm sorry, Shaggy P. It's Swaggy P, but my bad.
We made some moves. That draft pick turned into Kyle Kuzma, so we felt good about making that deal. Drafted Lonzo Ball, number 2. I know you're still against it, but yes, we can debate that, because I think he's outstanding all-around point guard. Then Josh Hart. So things got going in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And then I start hearing, Magic, you're not working hard enough. Magic's not in the office. So people around the Laker office was telling me, Rob was saying things And
Rob Pelinka.
Rob Pelinka, and I didn't like those things being said behind my back, that I wasn't in the office enough and so on and on. So I started getting calls from my friends outside of basketball saying those things now were said to them outside of basketball. Now, not just in the Laker office anymore. Now it's in the media and so on.
And these are people you trust.
Exactly. And people got to remember something. Being in this business for over 40 years, I got allies, I got friends everywhere, right? And so the straw that broke the camel's back was I wanted to fire Luke Walton. And we had max 3 meetings. I showed her the things he did well and the things he didn't do well. And I said, listen, we got to get a better coach. I like him, he's great, former Laker, the whole thing. So the first day, well, let's think about it. Second day, okay, you can fire him. Then the next day, no, we should try to work it out. So when we went back and forth like that, and then she brought Tim Harrison to the meeting, you know, some of the guys. And Tim, you know, wanted to keep him because he was friends with Luke. And Luke's a great guy, great guy.
He is.
And so when I looked up and said, wait a minute, I only really answer to Jeannie Buss. Now I got Tim involved. And I said, it's time for me to go. I got things happening that was being said behind my back. I don't have the power that I thought I had to make the decisions. And I told them, when it's not fun for me, when I think that I don't have the decision-making power that I thought I had, then I got to step aside.
Let me go back to the backstabbing comment, because you said that when you resigned abruptly inside the Staples Center. And you just educated us that friends you trust, that got to them outside of basketball.
Right.
So did it come down, I understand the Luke Walton element,
Yeah.
but when you allude to the backstabbing, was it Rob Pelinka that you're talking about? Is it Rob Pelinka and other people within the Lakers organization? Who exactly were you talking about?
No, just Rob. I think that other people didn't bother me. It's really funny as I sit here. I don't worry about those type of things. I'm not a guy who is like, oh man, he said this about me, and I worry about it. What happened was I wasn't having fun coming to work anymore, especially when I got to work beside you, knowing that you want my position. And I'm okay with that, because this is what happened, Stephen A. I told him in year 2, I'm only going to be here 3 years. So my job is, Rob, to get you ready for this position. So, you know, I was going to help elevate him to the president's position. And so when all this was coming back to me and guys calling me saying, you better watch out for him. And then what was crazy was, when I took the job, you know how many agents called me and said, you got to watch out for him. And I said, I got to give the guy a fair chance. You know, I can't listen to people. And so, but he was a hard worker, smart guy. But now you have that position. So I'm good with that.
Okay, so that's Magic firing off pretty much on Rob Pelinka. He had some other things to say, too, particularly about this guy, Tim Harris, who was in charge of the financial department as far as the Los Angeles Lakers is concerned, basically the business aspect. And apparently he was getting in Jeannie Buss's ear as well. So basically what Magic Johnson was saying, to really just sum it all up, was that, you know, there's too many people trying to sit at the table and call shots. There's too many people that want to be a shot caller. So he was under the impression, of course, that he was going to have, you know, full power for basketball operations. That was his title, President of Basketball Operations. But it turned out he did not have that power at all, as he obviously was being undermined by Rob Pelinka in particular, and Tim Harris, and then Jeannie is answering to what Jeannie is, you know, taking advice from the Rambises, Curtin and his wife, and it made for a pretty sticky situation, and he wanted to fire Luke Walton, and which I didn't understand, because they were so against firing him, so Magic quits, and then like a couple days later they fire Luke Walton anyway. Excuse me. So that didn't really make much sense to me. Unfortunately, as a diehard Lakers fan, nothing that the Lakers have done recently has made sense to me. They asked him about LeBron James. They played the clip from the shop as far as, how Magic pretty much left and didn't even notify him. And Magic kept it real. Magic said, look, I did it my way. As a man, sometimes you have to look out for you, and and you have to do things your way. That's basically him flexing and saying, man, I'm Magic Johnson. Who the fuck I need to answer to? Who the fuck I need to explain myself to? I do think he should have at least told Jeannie Buss. I do think he should have did that, because that technically was your employer. So, but honestly, he didn't owe anybody else a damn bit of explanation, especially if there were people talking behind his back. So, like, now I've heard people getting on Magic Johnson saying, that he wanted a full-time position but only do a part-time job. Well, if him and Jeannie Buss agreed to that, because he wanted to still, he didn't want to give up all of his other businesses because his other businesses were making more money, and Jeannie Buss agreed to that, I don't see why everybody is jumping down Magic Johnson's throat about trying to work quote unquote part-time, if that's what Jeannie Buss agreed to. I mean, remember, she came to him. It wasn't the other way around. So it's like, okay, you want me to do you a solid, but this is what we're gonna have to work with. And if you agree to it, then Rob Pelinka should have been checked off dick. He should have been checked first and foremost by either Jeannie or Kobe, if this was what was agreed to. So now I'm just curious, because I mean, those were bombshells that Magic dropped yesterday. And Rob Pelinka has this reputation in the NBA as being conniving, sneaky, a liar, and nobody wants to do business with him. And this is the GM of the Lakers now? Really? So this was Rob Pelinka's response.
I think the most important thing for me is the 2 years of getting to work side by side with Irvin are some of the greatest memories I have in sports and work. He's an unbelievable person to work with. He fills the room with joy and vision. And truly it's saddening and disheartening to think he believes things are a misperception. I think all of us in life probably have been through things where maybe there's third-party whispers or he said, she said things that aren't true. And then I have talked to him several times since he decided to step away. We've had many joy-filled conversations. In fact, 2 days ago, we were reliving the combine and the fourth pick and talking about the great future that this franchise has. So these things are surprising to hear and disheartening. But I look forward to the opportunity to talk with him and sit down with him and work through them, just like in any relationship, because they're just simply not true. I stand beside him. I stand with him as a colleague, as a partner. I've always supported everything he's done and will continue to. And, I think that's the best way to address that.
I stand beside him. I stand with him. And we're going to fix this like any relationship. I mean, that sounds like a goddamn divorce. That's what it sounds like. You heard on when Magic was saying something, how agents were calling Magic saying, you got to watch this guy. You know what that's like? That's like, as a dude, you getting with a woman and she has a rep for being crazy. She has a rep for being crazy and trifling. And, your boys, a lot of your friends in your circle are trying to warn you, hey, don't mess with that girl. Don't mess with that girl. And, he's like, hey, she can't be that bad. Look, I can't judge on past experiences before we got together, so I'm going to give it a try. And then when you find out, everything ain't what it's supposed to be, then you got your people in your circle saying, I told you that bitch was crazy. I told you. I mean, so, and now, Rob Pelinka, can't you just hear the bullshit kind of with that explanation? Now, I'll make no bones about it. I'm Team Magic. But can't you hear can't you hear the scriptedness in that answer? I mean, this is just my opinion. I personally could just hear none of that adds up. None of it. None of it adds up. I wonder, if I just want to know what Rob Pelinka really wanted to say. I mean, I just wanted to know how Rob Pelinka really felt. I mean, what would his reaction be if he just went straight ignorant and really spoke from his heart? Let's see.
As long as you want. It's great. I love it.
Okay, everybody settle down. Settle down. Settle down right now. Okay, I just got some things to address about this situation involving Magic Johnson. This is, first of all, my response to Magic Johnson is, fuck you. Okay? You gonna sit here and call me a backstabber? You gonna sit here and call me a backstabber? First of all, I'm not no figurative backstabber. If I'm gonna stab you in the back, you gonna feel the blade. Okay? You gonna feel the blade. So you can kiss my ass. And you want to talk about somebody stabbing you in the back, you ain't never bring your black ass to work long enough so anybody could even stab you in the back. So really what you need to do is shut the hell up. You don't talk to me like that. Talk about I'm a backstabber. I'm Rob Pelinka. You know who I am. Okay, so I don't know what Magic Johnson's problem is. He's just being a hater. Lazy son of a bitch. Well, I have never. And I'm just, kind of thinking outside the box. I just wonder, because Rob Pelinka said that they've been on the phone, they've had several conversations since Magic Johnson resigned. I wonder what those conversations sound like today. Hello?
Yeah, hold on. Is this Magic?
Yeah, this is Magic.
You know who the hell this is.
What you got to talk about,
Oh, no, I
Rob?
got a lot to talk about. You gonna go on First Take and talk
Yeah,
shit
I
about
did
me?
go on First Take
Oh, you did?
and dime you out because you gonna stab me and you gonna backstab me and talk things behind my
Okay,
back, Rob. You know you don't do things like
Man,
that.
first of all, I'm gonna tell you, like I said at that goddamn press conference.
Here you go.
I'm not a figurative backstabber, nigga.
Nigga.
If I'm gonna stab you in the back, you gonna feel the blade. You might be 6'9",
All
but
right.
if I stab you in the back, you gonna be 6 foot hurt, motherfucker.
Oh, but you know what, Rob? You just need to be quiet and just
You be
worry
quiet.
about your new coach. But look, I'm living my best life. It ain't my fault that you got the reputation of being a liar
Oh,
and
really?
a snake, and you just don't treat individuals in that type of manner. And
Okay.
I don't know what you had going on with Jeannie or anything else. I don't know if
Oh, I
Kobe
see what
putting
this
you up to
is.
this. But let me tell you, I'm Magic Johnson. Okay, I'm Magic Johnson.
I don't give a
And
fuck.
nobody is going to try to disrespect me like that behind my back. You couldn't even say anything to my face. When I was there, you couldn't even say nothing to my face. You know I'm going to make it like Showtime. And watch your mouth when you talk to me.
First of all, I don't give a fuck who you think you are.
Oh,
okay?
you
I'm
still
Rob
cussing,
Pelinka, so I
man.
don't give a damn, okay? I
Okay.
say anything to your face when I want to.
You
So
can't
let me
reach
tell you
my
something.
face.
You know what?
You can't
What I
reach
say to
my
your face
face.
is I'll whoop your ass if you come say
Oh,
something
really?
else disrespectful about
Don't
me
do
again.
it,
I don't care if you
Rob.
mad as
Rob.
Say something else disrespectful
Rob.
about me, and I guarantee you gonna get your ass kicked. You gonna get your
Rob.
ass kicked at your own businesses, nigga.
He called me a nigga
Yeah, I
again.
did.
Rob, man, don't do it because now you're starting to piss me off.
So what?
You gonna make me go back to Lansing on you. I busted no little cap in your ass.
I'ma tell
Don't
Kobe.
do it. Don't do it.
I'ma
I'm
tell
trying to
Kobe.
make it. I'm gonna get off the phone with you.
Nah, you
I'm
gonna
gonna
listen
call
to me.
Kareem and we gonna go get
What?
us some sky hookers.
fuck?
Bye, bitch.
What?
Legendary. I mean, flat out legendary. I mean, that's sometimes you just need to find out the truth about somebody. You just really, really, really do.
What about the wiener?
And I mean, all jokes aside, if everything that Magic said was true, and I don't think we really have a reason to, think that he's lying about anything, then he was undercut. He was undercut, and really it just seemed that Jeannie Buss brought him on strictly to be a face to attract free agents, but not make any type of decisions. And maybe that's that's really what should have been the job title anyway, instead of, giving somebody complete power in the public eye, but really having no intentions of giving him the power that was supposed to be, that you were supposed to give him as far as making basketball decisions. So that was fun. So anyway, I'm off that subject now. So now to the NBA playoffs. And, we have one conference final series still going on. Tonight is Game 4 between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. Milwaukee took the first two, and the Raptors responded in a double overtime victory over the Bucks. Kawhi Leonard played outstanding again. Giannis had an awful game, 12 points, 23 rebounds, so that is doing something, but 8 turnovers. No! And my only thing is that, Giannis had a bad game. Middleton had a bad game. Bledsoe had a bad game. And Kawhi had a great game, over 30 points. Lowry had a decent game. Pascal Siakam had an outstanding game. He had 25 points. Marc Gasol had a great bounce-back game. And it still took the Raptors double overtime to beat this Milwaukee Bucks team. I mean, to me, that just doesn't bode well for the for the Toronto Raptors. And you got Drake in the crowd, trying to troll Giannis. I'm telling you, one day somebody gonna whoop Drake ass in the crowd. One day he gonna say something to the wrong player, and they gonna turn around and they just gonna dive on him. For real. But see, that doesn't. If I was Milwaukee, I would be very much encouraged. I'll be very encouraged. They're a team that usually, when you have young teams like this, they have to learn how to win. They have to learn how to close out series. But it doesn't appear that the Bucks have had that problem because, of course, they swept the Pistons and they absolutely destroyed the Celtics after losing Game 1. So this is only the Bucks. This is only the Bucks' second loss in the playoffs. I still firmly believe that they are going to beat the Toronto Raptors. I see them winning Game 4 tonight and closing out the deal in Milwaukee in Game 5, which would set up, drum roll, the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Golden State Warriors, because the Golden State Warriors completed a 4-game sweep last night of the Portland Trailblazers. Now, last time I did a show, it was after Game 1, and I said this was a heavyweight championship fight between backcourts, where you have the champion, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, going against the number 1 contender in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Well, it was a sweep. God damn! But maybe not the way I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the game. Game 1, the Warriors won by 22, and I figured, Portland, they took their ass whipping, but I figured every game would be close. And actually, every game was close. Games 2, 3, and 4 were very close. Portland just didn't get the job done when they needed to. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum didn't have good series at all. They really didn't. The Warriors defense played outstanding. I called the Warriors to win anyway, but I thought Portland would at least get a game. But they didn't. And the crazy thing is that in games 2, 3, and 4, Portland had substantial double-digit leads on Golden State. I'm talking about 17, 18-point leads in each game. They were up 15 at halftime, had a 17-point lead at the end of game, at halftime of Game 2. They had another 15 to 17-point lead in Game 3 and another 17-point lead last night in Game 4. And each time, the Warriors fought back. Now, and not only fought back, of course, they won. And so now what everybody's talking about, and really what everybody's looking forward to, is the Golden State Warriors versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Toronto Raptors do still have something to say about that, but if my pick is correct, and a lot of other people's pick is correct, it is going to be Bucks Warriors, with Milwaukee having the home court advantage. And this is how I view a Milwaukee versus Golden State potential NBA Finals matchup. If you follow me on this narrative, you do. If you don't, you should watch the movie. This reminds me of Rocky Balboa versus Clubber Lang. It reminds me of Rocky 3. where you have the champion, you have the defending champion, and life is good, and they appear to be unbeatable at least at that time in their career, and then you have this just relentless, tenacious, hungry, fearless challenger who's looking to snatch the throne. Like, I don't think the Bucks would rather win the title going through anybody else other than the Golden State Warriors. I'm pretty sure the Bucks want the Warriors to be the champ. You have to beat the champ, and I believe that is exactly what the Milwaukee Bucks are looking to do. Now, of course, they have to take care of their business. I am pretty sure that they will. I have faith that they will, and talking about the Trailblazers, I'm just reading now that their coach, Terry Stotts, they've agreed to a multi-year contract extension, well-deserved. Nobody had the Portland Trailblazers in the Western Conference Finals. Nobody outside of Portland. I don't give a fuck what you say. Nobody had the Blazers going to the Western Conference Finals, especially the last two playoff appearances. They were swept in the first round, each of the last 2 years. So definitely, Portland has nothing to be ashamed of. They played hard. They bought it. They just couldn't. Certain teams have to learn how to win, and that's why it's impressive watching Milwaukee, because it looks like, now, mind you, Milwaukee is a team that has not won a playoff series in 18 years. 2001, when they had Ray Allen, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, and Sam Cassell. That's the last time they won a playoff series, and it looks like they have gone through an advanced learning curve, and I really think tonight they're going to get it. They're going to get it done. Now, to the Golden State Warriors, this is the 5th consecutive year that the Golden State Warriors have made the NBA Finals. 5 consecutive years, which is absolutely amazing. No team has made it to the NBA Finals 5 straight years. You have to go all the way back to the 60s, the Bill Russell Celtic days. So that's how great of an accomplishment that the Golden State Warriors have pulled off. Now, feel free to leave your opinions with this question that I'm about to ask all 4 of my listeners. Do you think that LeBron's run of 8 straight NBA Finals appearances between Miami and Cleveland is more impressive than the Warriors' 5 straight NBA Finals appearances? Now, please feel free to leave your comments, but I will give you guys my opinion. To me, it is the Golden State Warriors making it to 5 straight NBA Finals appearances and going for their 4th championship in 5 years. And I tell you why. Now, this is not me hating on LeBron. I'm going to just simply say the Golden State Warriors have gone to the finals 5 straight years coming out of the Western Conference.
Kiss my ass, I'm
the
gone.
Very, very tough Western Conference. Now, one thing that I won't do, as far, because the East has been weak for a long time. This is the strongest the East has been in quite a while. But I'm not gonna totally poo-poo on the Miami years, because really they didn't blaze through the playoffs. They didn't really blaze through the playoffs except for LeBron and Chris Bosh's first year teaming up with Dwayne Wade. They blazed through the Eastern Conference playoffs that year. But years 2, 3, and 4 in Miami was tough. They had to fight. I have to give respect where respect is given, because you still had Boston with Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen. They were still formidable. And Rondo, they were still formidable. You still had the Indiana Pacers. They were a tall, difficult team to play. And this is when these guys were truly in their prime. Roy Hibbert was an all-star at the time. Paul George was becoming a player who you had to pay attention to. He was on the rise. David West was a sturdy veteran. Lance Stevenson was, a few people thought he should have been an all-star around the 2013-2014 campaign. They had George Hill. They had Tyler Hansbrough. So the Pacers, and matter of fact, in the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals, Indiana had the home court advantage. So years 2, 3, and 4 in Miami, they had to earn it. They had to earn those trips to the finals. Now, when LeBron went back to Cleveland, the East was trash. Straight up. The Eastern Conference was trash. So that's why I say Golden State's 5 straight trips to the finals are more impressive because the West has since the Jordan era. Since the end of the Jordan era, the West has been the dominant conference in basketball, going back to Tim Duncan, Kobe and Shaq, Dirk, because with the Warriors, you still had, through this run with the Warriors, which didn't always have Kevin Durant, you had to get through this. You had the Clippers who were a threat because Lob City was in full effect at that time, and the Houston Rockets. With Harden and Dwight Howard, and then now Harden and Chris Paul. You still had the San Antonio Spurs when they had Kawhi and Duncan, and when they had, even when they brought on LaMarcus Aldridge. You had a gritty, tough Memphis team, which was a team that I think Golden State needed to play because they were bulldog tough, and they were gonna give a Golden State adversity, and they did. I remember in 2015, their first run, when they played Memphis in the second round of the playoffs, Memphis actually led that series 2-1. And it's just to do that year after year after year. You have the 7-game life or death struggle with the Rockets last year. You have, it's pretty much been, once you get out of the West, the finals pretty much for them has been easy, especially since, obtaining Kevin Durant, which, a lot of people are jumping on this case now because Steph Curry is a bad motherfucker. Steph Curry, people need to really sit back and just really appreciate how great Steph Curry is. Steph Curry averaged 36.6 points in the Western Conference Finals. He's averaged that since Kevin Durant got hurt. Remember when it was panic mode because Kevin Durant was injured? The Warriors have not lost a game. They haven't lost a game. Not one game since Kevin Durant got hurt. Now, of course, that people will say, well, this is why he shouldn't have joined the Warriors because they didn't need him. Well, I'm going to be straight up with you. That is LeBron James's fault. Yes, that is his fault. For one, he's the one who gave everybody the narrative, the idea to team up with your boys to form a super team instead of wanting to beat them. He started that shit. Now I know that there were teams in the past that were quote unquote considered, supreme team. I mean, all the way back, super teams, all the way back to the Rockets when Charles Barkley signed as a free agent with Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon, but all three of those guys were past their prime. Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale in 2008, Kevin McHale did Danny Ainge a solid because he was the general manager of the Timberwolves, and Danny Ainge is the general manager, president of for the Celtics. He did him a solid by sending him Kevin Garnett, and then a trade for Ray Allen, to form their big three. But when LeBron teamed up to Miami, it's the first time the three guys got together and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this." So LeBron put that idea in the people's head. And then you know what else is LeBron James's fault? That little stunt that he pulled on Draymond Green in Game 4 of the 2016 NBA Finals, where he knocked Draymond Green down, had the whole court to run around him, but decided to step over him out trying to send whatever message. And Draymond reacted, and the NBA gave the Cleveland Cavaliers the biggest tax break in NBA Finals history by suspending Draymond Green. And like I said, I don't fault the Warriors at all for wanting to go after Kevin Durant. Okay, NBA, you want to go there? You want to suspend one of our best players so we can keep this mismatch of a finals interesting? Okay, we raise you a Kevin Durant, and the last two NBA finals haven't even been close. Thank you, LeBron James. Thank you. So it is what it is, but you have to really appreciate what you're seeing from this Golden State Warrior team, what you're seeing from Steph Curry, what you're seeing from Klay Thompson, sturdy, marksman shooter, Draymond Green. Since Draymond Green lost this weight, Draymond Green has been a top 10 player, maybe top 5. He has been the glue. He has been the glue. I mean, Draymond Green has been balling his ass off. So we'll wait and see. We shall see. And go ahead, Milwaukee, handle your business so we can get it on in the NBA Finals. We can get it on and pizzopping. You feel me? Now, On to the world of boxing, and there was a heavyweight championship fight on Saturday night between undefeated Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder and Dominique Breazeal. Man, I tell you something. Deontay Wilder didn't make anybody over anxious to step in the ring with him because, I mean, Lord.
His first taste of adversity.
The firepower of Wilder, that punch landed on top of the head, not even on the chin or anywhere on the face, and Breazeal was stumbling a little bit. But credit to Breazeal for having the character to throw with him. And
Wilder hit Breazeal so hard, they are feeling it in Breazeal. Mamma mia, what a KO!
9, 10. That's it. You got knocked the fuck out, man.
And it was it. I mean, Deontay Wilder just unloaded. I don't know if you guys have seen Endgame yet, but remember when Hulk had just gotten back to 2012 and he went to the rooftop and saw the bald-headed chick, the sorcerer, and he was like, look, I need that Infinity Stone, and he came up to her and she knocked the soul out this nigga. That is what Deontay Wilder did to Dominic Breazeal. He knocked that motherfucker soulless. He might have knocked him to a new career. I'm being dead serious. He might have knocked him to a new occupation when he does his job resume. I mean, when you get hit like that, I mean, do you really need that in your life? I mean, Lord. Now, to his credit, he did try to get up. You know, he did try to get up and missed the count by a second. You know, the referee got to 10. He was still on 2 knees. You know, if the count had went to 12, he'd have got up. But then he just stumbled back like he was drunk. Because, I mean, man, punches like that fucks your spirit up. I mean, people ain't gonna look at you the same when you go out in public. Ooh, and people just gonna be like, ooh, damn. You all right, man? You okay? You all right? I mean, damn. And you know what the crazy part is that he was actually, I guess, technically under investigation by the WBC, the sanctioning body who he's the champion of, because he made a comment. Now, he made a comment about possibly that, you know, alluded to possibly trying to kill Dominique Breazeal in the ring because these two had some bad blood. You know, they've been beefing since about 2017. They got into an altercation in Alabama and it involved Deontay Wilder's brother, and threats were made on both sides. So when they interviewed Deontay Wilder, he was like, you know, this is the only sport where you can actually kill somebody and get paid for it. So why not, you know, try to do so with my right hand? I mean, I think that's the whole investigation thing is just a plain overreaction because he's not factually saying anything wrong.
He does.
I mean, he's not. Good old Ivan Drago. I mean, it's not like he took that route and it was like, you know, I'm going to try to kill him. And if he dies, you know, it is what it is. He dies. You know, he didn't take that route, but he was just being honest. And after the fight was over, you know, he went and hugged him and told him he loved him, whatever. I mean, because, you know, at the end of the day, they're still competitors. But when it's personal, you know, when you go into a fight and it's personal and the buildup is not just for bullshit hype, yeah, it's dangerous. You know, somebody come try to take your head off and you won't get in trouble for it. You won't, because it's the profession. You know, that's part of the game. It's the profession that you signed up for. So, you know, but now that that's out the way, I mean, let's get down to brass taxes, boxing. I want to see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua in the ring. I want to see that fight more than any other fight made in boxing, even more than Crawford and Spence. Honestly, because in that fight, there's a great chance that you're going to see somebody truly get laid the fuck out. For real. And you have 2 undefeated heavyweight champions in their prime. This is the problem with boxing. A sport that I absolutely love and adore. I've loved boxing since I was 5 years old. And the problem with boxing is simple. These promoters, I mean, that's honestly, that's the problem. The promoters in these contracts, look, I don't really mess with the UFC like that, but their best guys fight the best guys. And, nobody's worried about losses and everything. People are so worried about whether they lose a fight or not. I mean, you know what? As long as you live to fight another day, if you lose a fight and you give a great account of yourself, particularly in a fight with a magnitude of a Deontay Wilder and an Anthony Joshua or Terrence Crawford and an Errol Spence Jr., if it's a great fight, it's going to warrant a rematch, which is just going to make you more money. The problem is these promoters with their agendas. These promoters and their agendas and afraid to have their fighters possibly be beat, and they put them up against these tomato cans instead of having them fight the best person available, a champion fighting another champion, and just settling it in the ring to find out who's the better man on that night. I mean, that's the beauty of the sport that these promoters have taken away because of their agendas and all the bullshit politics, and we don't want to see that. The first thing they want to say is we want to give the fans what they want to see. We've been wanting to see Wilder and Joshua since last year. Ever since Wilder beat Luis Ortiz, because the year before is when Anthony Joshua had his fight of the year with Vladimir Klitschko. Ever since then, we have wanted to see these two guys fight. What the fuck? I mean, come on. And this frustrates me as a boxing fan because you have a fight that needs to be made, has to be made, but then you let it drag on for a couple of years. Now, mind you, this ain't Mayweather and Pacquiao. Now, these are two very popular fighters. It's, I think, the fight that I think the public wants to see most, but they're not at that level yet of where Mayweather and Pacquiao, where even though it dragged on for 5 years, which was way too long, and Pacquiao lost a couple of fights, they knew it was still going to be record breaking. If Anthony Joshua loses his fight next week, that's going to fuck everything up. These two in particular fighters, have to stay undefeated when they get in the ring. They have to. But you don't want to drag this out and then you have fighters that are past their prime, like Floyd Mayweather, like Manny Pacquiao was. Even though Pacquiao is still, he has a fight July 20th, day after my birthday, against Keith Thurman. And that's a pay-per-view fight. But, I mean, we want Wilder and Joshua. I'll take another Tyson Fury fight as well. Those three fighters need to be fighting each other. I'll take a Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder rematch. But after that, Tyson Fury, do you wants to get in the ring with him? Even though my Dominic Breazeal's game plan off bat was wrong. He was coming straight at him. Tyson Fury, like I said after the first fight, I never seen a heavyweight that size be that swift in the ring. But Tyson Fury Wilder and Joshua need to fight first. Damn it. That's first and foremost. Then Tyson Fury needs to fight the winner. Then the loser of the Wilder-Joshua fight needs to fight Tyson Fury. And then there needs to be a motherfucking rematch to that. Stop playing with my emotions, boxing fans. Stop it. It's too many good fights, too much money to go around. I would rather see Joshua and Wilder and Crawford and Spence well before I'd rather see a third fight between Canelo and Triple G. Straight up. Because I've seen that twice. Two great fights. Two wrong decisions, but two great fights. But I just want to see Joshua and Wilder once. I'd be happy with that. Because I see somebody getting laid the fuck out. Oh, but anyway. I'll tell you, that boxing makes me emotional, man. It does. But with that being said, where the buzzer, where the buzzer, where the buzzer? All right. The life segment that I'm going to do today, it's based around a lot of the topics that I talked about today. And it's simple. It's just that people nowadays just don't like to tell the truth. Telling the truth now is a lost art. It really is. And do you know why telling the truth is such a lost art? because of this bitch-made society that we live in, where everything has to be politically correct, and you don't want to say something to hurt anybody's feelings, but you know what that's also called? Enabling somebody. Sometimes when the person hears the truth, whether they like it or not, it can also do them very good, because they could get their life steered in the proper direction. I mean, for real. People always want to say the politically correct thing to make somebody feel good about themselves. Now, I'm not saying I want people to walk around here feeling terrible about themselves, but people need to know what's up. If you fucking up, you should know. If the way you're going about handling your business is not right, you should be told that. I respect the person who will sit there. I will respect a white person call me a nigga to my face, then be so nice and polite, and I think he's a great guy, and then as soon as he gets behind closed doors, calls me a nigga then. Because then what you got is a snake in the grass. I mean, that's just me. People need to hear the truth, even if it's about their children. I'm serious. A mom is like, oh, look at her. Look at mama's little princess. Ma'am, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but, your daughter's ugly as fuck.
Biatch.
You're ugly as fuck. The daddy's ugly as fuck. And ain't no beautiful swan come from you ugly fuckers. I mean, people need to hear that shit.
You going to hell, nigga.
I'm serious. Like, if you have and I'm not, all jokes aside, parents in particular, are so blinded of the truth, because, every parent, at least every good parent, wants their kids to be picture perfect. But, if your kid is visibly challenged, not saying blind, but, kind of hard to look at, if they have a slow learning curve, parents will say, ain't nothing wrong with that boy, ain't nothing wrong with that boy, ain't nothing wrong with that girl. But people sometimes you need to hear the truth, sir. Your son is dumb as shit. Honestly. I asked him what was 2 + 2. He said Ezekiel Elliott. I'm like, what the fuck? So, I mean, all I'm just trying to say is, man, people just need to keep it real. People have stopped keeping it real. People keep it real fake. Honestly. If you're in a relationship and you're no longer attracted to the person, then tell them. Because what you're doing then is living a lie. People have gotten so comfortable with living a bullshit lie. Their life is incomplete. I'm serious. People are so accepting of living a lie. If you're not, look, I know when I'm not wanted. And it's like, if you're in any situation, if you're at work, and even if you know somebody that got you the job, if you're not performing up to the job's expectations, tighten up or get the fuck out. I don't care if you are the chairman's son. People need to hear the truth. Because I'm serious when I say that today's society enables people, because people don't keep it a stack with you. People tell you what you think you want to hear. I mean, even rich people just be around a bunch of fucking yes men, and when they fuck up, they're like, but you guys told me it was okay. It's crazy. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns. Again, if this is your first time listening to Sports Plus Life, please hit that subscribe button and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. And I will holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.